Hello everybody, hope everybody's doing great today. Appreciate those of you watching this video. I hope you enjoy it. And I do hope you're having a marvelous day. Today I decided to comb my hair a little bit because I'm finally doing a book review. I haven't done a book review for over a year now. I used to do a lot of book reviews on this channel along with TVs and TV shows and movies, but you know, it's kind of easier to watch, but I'm going to take some time this year and do some more reading. But anyways, I decided to start this off with a banger and review this book called the Book of Mormon. For those of you who don't know, the Book of Mormon is a religious text of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They believe that it was written by prophets that were living on the Western Hemisphere, perhaps the United States, perhaps in South America, perhaps in Mexico, who knows, but over here in the Western Hemisphere, they believe these prophets received revelation from God, and they testified of that revelation, testified of Jesus Christ. But today we're not going to talk about the religious aspect of the Book of Mormon. We're just going to talk about this book as if it was written by Joseph Smith, which the great majority of the people in the world believe it is so. If so, could this have been one of the greatest books that ever came out of the 1800s of the 19th century? If it's just written by one man, which many claim to be. It's up to you to decide. But today, so we're going to talk about the Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon, trying to get my words right here. It's about a family who lived in Jerusalem about the time of Jeremiah and Daniel. And because Israel is about to get conquered, they escaped and came over to the Western Hemisphere, and it started a civilization. So the Book of Mormon is about this family started civilization, the rise of this civilization, and eventually the fall of this civilization. So the book kind of is a tragedy in a way. And of course, because this is a religious text, there's a lot of text about the relationship between man and God. What's the responsibilities of God to us, to the people who live here on earth, and what's the relationship between man and the responsibilities that man have toward God, and how you can have happiness in this relationship and receive the blessings of God. So you got that a lot of the text is dedicated to the religion of this civilization, which is basically from start to finish is about the religion of this group of people. But the Book of Mormon also covers other aspects that many people might find fascinated. If this is, like I said, this written by Joseph Smith, this is kind of like a fantasy book in a lot of ways. It covers the government that was over here, what type of government. We see that at one time these civilizations covered in this book that the author wrote believed in kings, and eventually it evolved into a government of judges where they were elected by people, and the people elected their rulers. And so when you read, a lot of scholars will say that Joseph Smith got the inspiration of this from the United States of America, because at that time, of course, we had elected presidents, we elected our officials, and how this kind of bled into his writings into the Book of Mormon. That's how he got the inspiration for the government of judges. So the Book of Mormon also got your political players in this book. You got a man named Alma, who was like the first judge of this civilization. Not only was he like the judge or the head honcho, he also was like a prophet of the God that they believed in. We also got other key players in here. Once this civilization went away from the kings and started electing their officials, you had other individuals who wanted to bring back the government of kings and establish that sort of government once again. And we kind of, Book of Mormon covers like the political plays that these individuals did in order to gain power among the people, the tactics they used, which is kind of, when you read it, you kind of see that the same tactics that these individuals used in this book are being used today in our time. they're very similar. You get the people who, the power, just like in the U.S. government, the United States rebelled from England, and we try to take the much power away from the government and give it to the people as possible. Well, in the Book of Mormon, you have the same philosophy that once these judges are established, they try to give this power to the people just so they can elect their officials, those who govern them, and then eventually over time, you would have these individuals come up and try to make the government more stronger, which is what you see in our time as well. So you kind of apply it to modern day as we see our federal government getting stronger and stronger, taking more power away from us common people into making it more into the political class, giving the political class much more power than that our founding fathers ever intended for. So in the Book of Mormon does cover like governments, and you also have two groups of people here throughout the book. You have the people who believed in God and people who did not. And the people who did not, they're the ones who did have like kings and stuff. They're seen as kind of like maybe barbarians is a little bit of a harsh word, but they're a little bit harsher, maybe a little bit more kind of criticized as being a little bit more uncivilized, a little bit more. They had like more like slavery, and they were more of a people who like to fight a lot amongst themselves. Yeah, what's to say? Basically, they're characterized as uncivilized, and you kind of see this in our time period as well. As people from America, we don't really we see these people from all over the world, maybe not as civilized as ourselves. I might be over exaggerating a little bit there. I might be a little bit too harsh. But we see people south of our border, in those countries not being as civilized as America. Let's just say it that way. Because you see how they are, they're always characterized as having corrupt governments and running by underlords, drug lords, and stuff like that. So you kind of make a parallel between the Book of Mormon in that way, and this, and you can probably make a parallel between the Book of Mormon and today's world. Sometimes I'm not very good with words. Apologize for that. But when you see that, so it does kind of cover a little bit of migration between the two, for a long time. In this book, you see these two civilizations clash with each other. You got lots of wars between them because they got different beliefs. You either could say it's because of religious beliefs, but it's mostly, you say it's more political beliefs. You got the one group called the Nephites and the Lamanites. And the Lamanites are under the belief that the Nephites kind of stole their land, their power, their beliefs, such like that. So they got this eternal hatred to the Nephites. But as the Book of Mormon goes along, you kind of see that these prejudices that each group has towards each other kind of break down, and sometimes it's kind of reversed as the Nephites here, who are begin as the good people. They start to develop beliefs that's detrimental to their own civilization. You get groups that are starting to corrupt, they infiltrate the government for their own benefit. That's what I'm saying, for their own benefit. And we see in the Book of Mormon how this corrupt group starts to infiltrate the government and starts to try to turn the minds of the people away from this elected officials and toward to more of a wanting more of a kings and stuff like that. You see this group of people are willing to steal, murder, do whatever they can to gain more power. And once you read it, you kind of see the same stuff that's going on in our time today. There's a lot of parallels in this book. And, when you read a lot of stories from the past, a lot of them do, what I'm trying to say here, a lot of them do, you can see how the stories in these books actually can come into like the real life as well. Like, you read a Jane Austen book, it's all fiction, not real, but you see real life entered into these books, which is what makes a book great, is that they tell human truths. If a great book can tell you truths, and that's what they're meant to do, give you some kind of truth that is in the real world, where you can see, and it can make you, enlightened on how things work. You find this all throughout the Book of Mormon. Also, the Book of Mormon, talks about, like I said, religion, the government, even talks about like their trade and their money, how their money system works, such like that. Joseph Smith put that stuff in there. If, for those who don't believe that it is the Word of God, see that Joseph Smith was a very good author, where he's able to entwine religion, politics, even able to write in money systems, how these people traded, how people interacted with each other. We see this throughout. If there's any criticism, I guess you could say, about the Book of Mormon, it lacks, like, if you're somebody who's like a big time feminist, it kind of lacks some female characters per se. There's 3 of them. One of them is at the beginning. She's the mother. She's a mother. She's a mother. She's the wife of a prophet. But you kind of see her being kind of like her role in the family. Later on, you get a second character, and it's really easy to remember the woman characters, because there's only 3 of them. And then you got another woman called Abish, she lives among the Lamanites who don't believe in God, and she happens to be like one of the sole people who does actually believe in God. So she's kind of hiding her beliefs, and she plays a major role in helping convert these group of people into believing in God and stuff like that. So she plays that major role. And then you have another female character, I believe she's called Isabel. Is it Isabel? Yeah, she's nothing but an Isabel. Something like that. Anyway, she's more like a whore, and you see how her role into the book is that she kind of seduces these missionaries and stuff, and how when these missionaries kind of fell for her trap, it hurt the progress of spreading the gospel to these people, because if you got religious people chasing after a woman and doing stuff with her, it's hard to believe in their words. So it's kind of like her role in the story. And then you just got a group of mothers, and they're mothers to this other group of soldiers called 2,000 Stripling Warriors. And we see how important it is for mothers to teach their children good things, positive things, and positive, beliefs and traits and characteristics. And so that's kind of like their story with the 2,000 Stripling Warriors. So even though the women are kind of not prominent in the Book of Mormon, their roles are very important in this book. And so I know at the end, the downfall of this civilization, it goes in very good detail on what caused this great downfall, which was, they lost, they started to lose their beliefs in their own nation, their beliefs and what is morally right and morally wrong. They started doing like crooked stuff all over the place. You can really make that contrast to other civilizations that fell. How they became morally bankrupt. They no longer really had a sole purpose, a common belief in their own state or country, kingdom, whatever, and that kind of contributes to the fall of any civilization. You see that all in the Book of Mormon. So yeah, in the end, I would highly recommend you read this, even if you're not a member of the Church of Jesus Christ. It's a very good story, because it talks about, this group of people, the creation of a civilization, how they got to rise to great power, the troubles they had during this rise, and what ultimately caused the great fall. You get a lot of lessons about life, about the relationships between a man and God, what is how you should serve God, and how God helps people in their lives, or political power, how the government is supposed to act, how is it supposed to serve the people, what kind of political players you should be caution of. It's all in this book. So yeah, I highly recommend it, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you've stuck around for 15 and a half minutes, thank you very much. Interested in hearing your comments. And hey, if you stick around this much, leave a like. And the next video, we'll go back to a review of a good movie or a show. Hopefully it's a good movie or show. Anyways, have a great day, and bye.